What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my next NFL draft scouting report. I don't know why it sounds like there's something stuck in my throat, but anyway, get to it. So start with just my background information. I'm doing Ezekiel Elliott, by the way. Yesterday I did Derrick Henry, and today I'll be doing my last running back. And so go into some of his background information and stats from college. And he was a junior from Ohio State, left with 1 year left in his eligibility. Was able to bring home one national championship while he was at Ohio State, and then also a Fiesta Bowl ring this past year. And he is a 5'11", 225-pounder, and actually, it depends on who you look at. I don't know. I've heard anyone from 5'11" to 6 foot, so not sure there. Anyway, put up solid stats pretty much every year at Ohio State. 1,821 rushing yards. This past year, I believe 23 touchdowns. And 206 through the air off 27 receptions. Coming off, honestly, probably just as good of a year the year before, 1878, and 18 touchdowns? Yeah, 18 touchdowns on the ground and then another 220 from 28 receptions through the air. He averaged about 6.3 yards per carry this past year, and then 6.9 yards per carry the year before. So that's an impressive number right there. So get into his strengths. He's got a lot of them. He's probably the most polished back in the NFL. So these are just the 5 biggest, but there's a whole list of about 10 or 15 of them that you could name. So first one is he has the acceleration to find holes in the defense and get to the second level. He can break tackles. He runs behind his pads. He gets the shoulder down. He can definitely lower the boom. Maybe not the most power type runner in this draft. I don't think he probably has as much power as like a Derrick Henry type, but nonetheless, maybe the best mix of everything. Like I said, the acceleration's great. He runs about, I believe, an upper 4.4s in the 40. In the 40 time, I need to look up his exact combine stuff, but I'll get that up right here. But he is, I think he'll be a great fit for any team that needs a running back. He has great vision. Like I said, he can find the holes. He can get to the second level. I think he knew very well how his offensive line worked at Ohio State. I think he has a lot of trust in himself and his teammates, especially if he's running behind a good offensive line. And next strength is his elusiveness. He can make people miss and break big runs. Like I said, he can use his acceleration, his quickness. He's a very slippery running back, and you can see that with the 6.3 yards per carry and the 6.9 the year before. So fourth one is he's a good receiver. He rarely drops the ball. He's very quick out of the backfield, and I don't think that there's many guys in this draft that are better receivers than Zeke. He's got good hands. He can get outside. He has a very good check down, and I think he'll be one of the better receivers in the NFL when it comes out of the backfield. So final strength is his blocking. He's a good pass blocker. He's a good run blocker. He can do pretty much a good combination of both. He's a stocky guy. He's got good size, but he's still not like, I wouldn't even say he's I'd say he's very far from overweight is what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to find this 40 time. Sorry about that. Getting a little distracted. All right, there it is. So yeah, 4.47 40. So that's what I was looking for. But yeah, he's a good blocker. I think he's good and polished in run and pass schemes for blocking, which is a big thing obviously in the NFL. Being a good pass blocker as a running back is something that pretty much every team is going to look for, especially if they're running a normal pro style offense, which obviously most NFL teams do. All right, so get into some of his weaknesses, and to be honest, it's pretty much all off the field stuff. From what I've heard, he's got a few off-field issues. Called out his coaching staff and his teammates in the loss to Michigan State this past year, and I don't think that anyone on the Ohio State team appreciated that. Obviously, they were missing J.T. Barrett for that game. I think they were missing J.T. Barrett for that game, and Ezekiel is a guy who's very critical of his coaches. He's not afraid, definitely not afraid to say what's on his mind. Not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you got to be able to know how your team works dynamically and be able to know your role in the locker room, especially on an NFL team. That's something that's going to be big for him in the transition from the college to the NFL game. Now, second one is playing off of that. His strong personality goes against coaches. A lot of teams wonder if he's going to be able to mesh well in their locker room, if he's going to have issues with other guys, or if he's just not going to fit in. He's just not going to fit in with the team dynamic. I don't think it's that big of an issue, but I think it's not something that's talked about a whole lot when you talk about how a guy fits in with the team chemistry-wise, and if he is comfortable where he's at, if he can get along with everyone on the team, and if he can make friends on the team and just feel like he's in a good situation. And again, a thing that a lot of teams I think are worried about was Zeke's transition to the NFL. Like I said, strong personality, doesn't really care what he says, and speaks what's on his mind. So the third one is probably the smallest one. It's hard to find a weakness for him, but his speed could be a little bit improved. I'm saying that because I think that's probably the thing that he will improve the most when he goes to the NFL. Like I said, 4.47 40 time. It's not elite speed. It's decent speed. But I think being the number one running back in the draft, and Ezekiel Elliott's an incredibly competitive guy, I think he should be working extremely hard to get his speed up, maybe around a 4.42, 4.43, maybe even a 4.4 flat, and would definitely be the best back out of this class if he's able to do that. So I had Ezekiel Elliott. Let me see if I can find my last mock draft results. Yeah. So my last mock draft, I had Ezekiel Elliott going, I believe, 21 to the Washington Redskins. Now, I don't know if Ezekiel Elliott makes it outside of the top 20 from seeing, just general articles about the draft from GMs and just rumors around the league. It sounds like Ezekiel Elliott is not going to go outside of the top 20. A lot of mock drafts have him not going outside of the top 10. I know that the Eagles have shown some interest in him. I think that's one of the big reasons why they traded up to number 8. I think that's a very viable option for him. The Redskins, I think, are a great fit if he does slip that far. That's why I had him going there in my last mock draft. I think the Broncos trading up to get him is also a very viable option. This guy's so polished. There's not many teams that need a running back just as a whole, but I think the Ravens are another team that have been looking around for him. I'm trying to see if there's any other team. The Chicago Bears and New York Giants have also been heavy on his case. So I think any of those teams would be a good fit. I think Ezekiel Elliott will be a stud in the NFL. He has so much talent. He's such a polished running back. I think he's the most NFL ready there is in this class right now. He's good. I mean, he's got pretty much everything you want out of an NFL running back. He's got good speed. He's a good blocker. He's a good receiver. He can hit the hole. He's elusive. He can break tackles. I don't know what else you want. And I think he's an immediate Rookie of the Year candidate coming out of college. He might be one of the top 5 most talented offensive players in this draft, if not one of the top 3. And I think that'll show through when the season starts. I don't think he's a guy and I think he'll be able to do good with really whatever team he ends up on. I think it's hard to screw up the career of a guy like that who's so, like I said, has such a strong personality, is so competitive, and will work so hard to find the right situation to make sure he's successful. So that pretty much does it for this video. Like I said, I did Derrick Henry yesterday. If you want to see that, or if you're watching this video a little bit in the future, this is my NFL or my scouting report week. So I am doing one NFL and one NBA scouting report every single day of this week. If you have not seen the Derrick Henry one yet, and you want to check that out, or if you, like I said, are watching a little bit in the future and have not seen the rest of the scouting reports yet, I'll put the link to the entire playlist in the description below. I'll also put the link in the description below to some of his other highlights, film breakdowns, since I didn't do that in this video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.